What's up, everyone? Tag a friend and let them know we're about to get into it.
Welcome to the SpeakHer Podcast with your host, Camille Essick, the podcast where creators and innovators connect. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the SpeakHer Podcast. I am your co-host, Jonathan. Camille will be here shortly. Be sure to lean on the subscribe button and tag a few friends.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Please share this and tag a friend who needs to hear this.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is Camille Essick. I'm host of the SpeakHer Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and critics connect. What I need you to do right now is hit that notification bell and subscribe. We have some exciting things coming forth. Lots of things out there right now. Be sure to follow me on social media at CamilleEssick.com. And you can also send me an email at the speakerpodcast@gmail.com. So this is the first episode of the new season, and I'm super excited. This is like Big Brother or like your favorite cousin pulling up. So I've been excited for weeks about this. When I say life is just so close and you don't realize people that know people. And so there's a little backstory. We have a mutual friend over the years, which I didn't know. And I'm just super excited to have him here. So we have call him the king of D9 apparel and all things fabulous. As you can see, if you have been on his website, you probably toot my little horn. You've seen me there. And some of the products, beautiful, gorgeous items that him and his family have created, such as this one. I have it in black. I love it so much. I need a white one. And there's some other things I want to do. Like I need a black on black Chanel. I need more merchandise just because everything is just quality. We're going to get into all that. So without further ado, you know him as 4 Club, also W. Eric Lusain. He's also just entrepreneur in other areas as well. So we definitely want to welcome him to the show. And the first time, hope not the last, to the SpeakHer Podcast. So everyone just welcome him here and drop your comments below. So welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Same. So I just want to hop right into it. First of all, I want to ask you, how are you doing and how's everything going?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Excited to be here.
Same. So I could go on and on about what you do, and there's so many other components to you, not just that, but I do want to ask you, what's been your biggest inspiration in the voice behind what you and your family have created?
Well, it depends on where you start. So, I mean, we've created so much. But if we start with the sweater business, that's where you and probably a lot of your audience knows me from. This was sort of a thing that I started during COVID to kind of distract myself from my main job, my main business. Some of you all may know or have found out that I'm actually a funeral home owner, and I own 2 funeral homes here in Birmingham, Alabama. I used to actually, I started in Ohio. We had 3 funeral homes in Ohio. So at one point, and during COVID, we had 5 funeral homes. And I honestly saw so much death that I started doing sweaters, and it was a great distraction from so much death. It's a lot I can talk about, but someone asked me a question, when did I start therapy? And I actually started therapy during COVID. I had no choice. And so, making sweaters, being creative, using my hands, that was therapy for me.
That is so interesting. I was not aware of the origin story of the sweater business. COVID, a lot of people don't talk about it as much as they did, but just to hear that now, it's so real. It's kind of like, wow. And I think to do something like this behind the funeral business is phenomenal, and I can actually understand and totally understand why that was a necessity. And out of that, you have become a staple within Black culture, D9 culture, HBCU culture, and although that time and we're still experiencing the ripple effect of that was very dark, but something beautiful has come out of it, and it's giving, I think, great representation to those of us within the HBCU D9, just in the Black diaspora, so thank you so much. I am,
Mhm.
thankful and is glad to hear that you opted to begin therapy, and that's one of the, cornerstones of the podcast here is we discuss topics and issues impacting the community and the culture. And I was in the Navy, and during um, my first season, initially this podcast was meant for Black women, and then I felt a tug to include our brothers, and that opened the door for the platform here for our brothers to discuss mental health and other things that impact them. So I'm thankful to hear that you started that, and that we're gonna get into some other things tonight regarding that. One of the things I wanna ask you as we kinda dip into that lane is, why do you feel conversations surrounding Black men and mental health are still difficult to open?
Yeah, that's rough. So in complete disclosure, like I said, I'm a licensed funeral director. Um, and so I've helped a lot of grieving families. And so for years, I've told families and counsel them to seek out help, to seek out grief therapy, and never thought that I would really need it for myself. Even after the passing of my brother, I lost my brother in 2014, and I didn't go to therapy. Somehow, I don't even remember how I got through that. That was my first major loss, and so I used to counsel families all the time. But during COVID, it got really, really bad.
Mhm.
And something that made me think about, I didn't know you were in the Navy. And so that kind of helped shape this conversation a little bit different. I've buried a lot of veterans. I've actually have had to eulogize a lot of veterans. And having spent so much time during memorial services at the Alabama National Cemetery, um, when I did so many of them services, that's when I began to realize the trauma that was involved with so many of our veterans and what they saw. So my dad didn't go to Vietnam because of health conditions. He couldn't go, but his brother did. And when his brother came back, he wasn't the same. And I think about my uncle all the time, and I think about other veterans and what they went through during Vietnam and all the trauma that they saw. And I didn't even really realize it, how bad it was, until I experienced the volume of death that I experienced during COVID. I got a story, and I'll share it real quick. I won't take up too much time. I
No, you have
remember
the floor, please.
I remember going to the funeral home one morning, and I'm on call all night, so I see all the calls that come in. I got so many death calls. I was just literally stressed out. I wasn't thinking, and I was in my car. I saw the state trooper get on the freeway. I saw him get on the freeway. I saw him. I still did 90 miles an hour past him. He pulled me over, came to the side of the car. He looked at me like, "Are you out of your mind?" And then when he saw the name on the side of my car, he recognized that it was a funeral home. I explained to him the situation, and he just said, "Man, just go on. I get it. Go on." And he, waved me off. But it wasn't then. That was the experience that finally told me that I needed therapy, because I was under so much stress and anxiety during that particular, morning going into the funeral home. I easily said, "I can't keep this up," and that's when I started therapy.
Yeah, in the Navy, I did 8 years, and the first 4 years I was in aviation. I did a deployment, I was on 4 different carriers, and then the second 4 years, with my reenlistment, um, someone within my command, what they call, an NC, which is the Navy equivalent of like a HR career counselor, and she was in the military, they call you by your last name. And she was like, "Hey, Essex, you're very professional. The officers really like you. You have great military bearing. You're mature." And she handed me a packet and she said, "If you're serious, I'll hear from you again." And it was a packet for the legalman program, which is the civilian equivalent of a paralegal. And so, I fill out the package and everything, and they picked me up in what they call cross rating. So they hired me, and I ended up being a paralegal for the JAG out in California, for the prosecuting attorney. And of course, with that, you end up working with NCIS and doing other things. And so in the beginning, it was great, and then, I started out in, like, family law, did that, and then I went across the hall to the trial office or the prosecuting attorney, and that's where I began to see various things, like, the sexual assaults and all that. And then one of my, last cases, hard case, a service member left a Glock 22 out, 3-0, found it, blew all of this off, she passed away, and they bring, of course, her autopsy photos, and I was the lead paralegal for that trial, so I saw that in addition to other things, but that is probably one of the cases that stuck with me. And when I got out, I did therapy, for, like, a year and a half through most of the pandemic up until, I think, like, the beginning of 23, where I felt like, "Okay, I'm good." But I knew to put myself in therapy amongst dealing being a Black woman in the military, um, I felt like this is something I need to do. So for you to say that, I totally, totally understand that, and I applaud you for doing so. One of the things I've learned here, Mr. Lusain, first of all, if you haven't done so, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you to everyone coming in, Janessa, Megan, thank you. Um, Here in the podcast, speaking with several Black men, I've hosted panels, and one thing that I'm learning is a lot of our men within our community carry a lot of stress on their shoulders, being the provider, being a husband, going out into the world, just trying to make it home without dealing with the police. And so cultivating these conversations, I feel like is so important. So for you, even prior to COVID, do you feel or believe that there was any point in time that you probably should have or could have started therapy sooner?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like I said, when I lost my brother.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I'm not really sure. Um, as you get older, life gets hard.
Mhm.
I wasn't in the military, and I think about my friends and family that was in Desert Storm and through all those years and what they experienced. I was just so lucky and blessed to have not ever gone through something like that. Um, in hindsight, I could definitely see the benefit from it.
Mhm.
I mean, I had a therapy call today. I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to get emotional here, but I lost my wife last year, and um, you know, I don't know what I was thinking. I had therapy, of course, leading up to her passing,
Mhm.
and for some reason, I thought I was going to be okay. Man, within a week or two, I had to get back in therapy, and I haven't left it since. There have been times when I would need to increase the frequency of it. Definitely around the holidays, my daughters and myself, we told our therapist, just stay on standby because we don't know what we're facing, going through the holidays. But now it's more so maintenance, and I'm kind of using therapy um, to stay ahead of it before a storm comes, which is
Yeah.
what a lot of people do. And then there are other methods and mechanisms of therapy too. I mean, a lot of people, I joke with the ladies, you guys have your executive boards where y'all can, go into your group chats and get therapy and stuff like that. But to your point, we as Black men, a lot of us, unfortunately, we don't do what y'all do. We don't want to be crying, and we don't want to be seen crying. For what it's worth, for the guys that are listening, and maybe they might pick this up later, I didn't want to cry in front of a male, so I went and got me a female therapist. Um, I don't have to see her in person. I could call her, I could do video calls. So there's so many methods that I would just encourage people to just take advantage of when it comes to therapy. But definitely you need a surrounding cast outside of the licensed help.
Absolutely. And again, extended continued condolences. I know a lot of us reached out to you online when you announced her passing. Was a Keisha?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's Miss
Yep.
Keisha. And so we were just as especially like the D9 community, we're just like extended family and just
Yep. For
reaching out.
sure.
But a lot of us felt that because it felt like y'all took care of us when it comes to the apparel and the sweaters and
Yeah.
everything. And so, of course, I know there are other people that probably don't have that type of support, especially through social media. But I
Hmm.
think those of us within the HBCU D9 community, we felt like that's one of ours. Like we got to do that, you know. And
Yeah.
so you mentioned like the ladies, we have our executive, we have the beauty salon, the nail shop, church,
Yeah.
you know, girl boss brunches, girls weekend. We have all these things. And so one of the things we discuss here is as far as how can men continue to create um spaces, safe spaces for each other where you can cry and your orientation is not intact, or you know the stereotypical things that happen.
Sure.
Because and I've said before, outside of gender, you're a person having a human experience, and that
Hmm.
I think matters. But when you add on race and gender, culturally can complicate things. But here we try to strip it down and say, hey, this is a person, they have feelings, and they need a safe and healthy space to be able to process that. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
um, going into further as far as transitioning out of that to where you are now, um, impacting like your creativity, what do you feel like creativity has given you personally?
Um, well, like I said, it's definitely, you know, creativity is therapy. But this has given me some new excitement. I mean, I just turned 50 years old. So, from what I understand, I was just reading something the other day. You become your most creative after the age of 40.
Mhm.
And I do feel that. I feel wiser, definitely feel a little older, but I
I
do
don't
feel more
know. I
creative.
mean, we'll give you a little Indiana love. Y'all don't know. OG is mean with the cane. I was like, okay, Fred. You
Yeah,
still got
yeah,
it.
but hey, but you know what? I still can't Dougie. That's the weirdest thing. I was, you know, the memes were coming on and the reels were coming on, and people were trying to teach people how to Dougie. I still don't know how to Dougie, but
It's
that's all
okay.
right.
As long as you can throw the
I
cane,
don't
it's
have
all
that
good.
kind of rhythm. I don't. I just, you know, at the end of the stroll, that's when I'll flex the shoulders and get them wet a little bit. But leading up to that, no, you don't want me leading out. Um, but
What's
yeah,
your
no,
number? Are you because I'm a
the
3, so what is
create.
your number?
Oh, I'm 4 club, so you know,
Okay.
I'm a caller.
4
Yeah.
club, yes, I'm a
Yep.
3 club,
Yep.
so
Yep. Yep.
you know, 3s and 4s, we hold it down, so
Yeah. Hey, you're my front, so that's what's up.
that's good. So I think creativity is therapy. One of the things I've learned to do here with podcasting, through the pandemic is putting myself on
Hmm.
sabbaticals, and so I
Yeah.
choose December, like, I do my last episode, and then I put myself on sabbatical. I'm a PK, I'm a church girl, so, you know, we do consecration in January. So everything
Okay.
gets shut down, I schedule all my posts, and then after that, that's why we come back in February because I feel
Okay.
that, God is the best creative director, He is the best CEO, He is my
Hmm.
HR person, and so as a creative, and you know this, you pour out a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I think spiritually, even some of the things that we experience is tied to our giftings. And so you have to have that time to recharge, replenish, and restore. And so in those downtimes, coming back, it seems like the creativity goes to another level. But I definitely will agree with you
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it is like our therapy, it's like our out. So how do you define success now in comparison to the beginning of your journey?
It's really very similar. I mean, obviously, I was broke at the beginning of the journey. You know, I didn't have what I have now. But when it comes to business, I just like to see it work. I mean, don't get me wrong. Um, it being profitable is an indicator of how successful it is. But there's nothing about the joy of taking something from nothing and creating something. So that journey of actually seeing it work, of seeing, of seeing people actually, say that I want that. Um, that's the joy that I get from it. And I'll be honest, in a lot of my businesses, I don't want to say I lose interest after it becomes successful, but once it becomes successful, I mean, I keep trying to obviously take it further, but once it becomes successful, then I kind of want to do something else. And, you know, I don't want to say the funeral business burnt me out, but, you know, in going through, you know, taking care of my wife and in losing her, I kind of needed to step away for a while. And to your point, I needed a sabbatical, and, you know, I'll come back. Thankfully, my staff is holding me down. I mean, they see me every day, but I'm definitely not as involved as I used to be. It was really too traumatic, in a lot of regards to continue, because you're serving people. And, you know, when they are going through something worse than you know, you can have more compassion. When I saw that, you know, my level of grief was as competitive as theirs, then, you know, I had to strategically and smartly just kind of take a step back, because as I train my staff, what they're going through, you know, this person just lost their mom. So they're at the lowest point in their life, and we got to be patient with them. And so I just want to make sure that they get the patience that they need. And so that's why I strategically just kind of stepped back a little bit, made sure the resources were in place, and really have just really been pouring myself into creating some unique products that people can be passionate about.
Yes. I think that is very commendable for you to even recognize, in order for me to better serve my community and my target audience, to pull back and to replenish, recharge, and refresh. So if you decide to step back in that capacity, you can do so as your best self. And that's
Yeah.
really good. And in terms of, and that's probably another episode as far as just the impact and what it means within the afterlife care industry and what it has meant as a component to the Black community. And that's probably a whole other conversation, but I don't think a lot of people
Yeah.
realize
Yeah.
even that um, area or field. It's just amazes me how we as a people, from the beginning, where your pastor or whomever blesses or christens you as a child, and then all the way till that interment, as far as services like that in the church, is a cornerstone of our community and our culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am a native of Nashville, Tennessee, and I went to MTSU.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, full circle moment, people, just a little backstory. Um, I think I posted something of yours. It might have been 2 years ago, and my big bro Michi didn't know you knew Michi. And so
Yeah.
the backstory on
Yeah.
that was Michi and I went to the same church together, and I was in high school and he was at Fisk, and my mom was over the college ministry.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
how that connection came about, and at one point, he was my Sunday school teacher.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so then full circle, um, what makes sense now, of course, you would know each other, you went to the same school, but just how
Yeah.
life is so
Yeah.
cyclical, so I think that's really dope. And so, the blue and gold, I love blue and gold for obvious reasons, but
Sure.
and a lot of people don't know about Nashville, so, of course, you hear about Vanderbilt and
Hmm.
Lipscomb and Belmont, but on Jefferson Street, which is now, I guess, more like the Yellow Brick Road, you have Fisk, and then right across the street, there's Meharry Hubbard.
Hmm.
I know it as Meharry Hubbard, old school
Yeah.
Nashville, and then at the end of the street, there's TSU. So you can go
Hmm.
down Jefferson Street, and you have 3 HBCUs on one street pretty much, and it's like, where
Yep.
else do you hear about that? And
Hmm.
so, what did Fisk University give you that goes beyond education and great homecomings?
Definitely great homecomings. You know what? I'll tell you a funny story before I get into that. I went to TSU's homecoming this year for the first time.
What?
I know, it's
That's
crazy.
like, you're right, literally 2 blocks,
No, but
like,
it's
down the
I don't.
street.
You know what? It's weird. It's so weird, and I made myself go because I've never been. You know, so I'm from Birmingham, and you know, a lot of my friends went to TSU. A lot. But I literally just stayed at Fisk the whole time. I didn't go down to TSU and party like some of the other kids did.
'Cause,
But
College Crib is, like, right there on the corner, a
yeah,
Skibalon bookstore,
which is
like,
still there. Yeah, which
yeah,
is still there. I remember I needed a cap or umbrella, and I knew exactly where I could go get one. Walked
yes.
in there and
And
could
then we
get
got our
one.
shea butter and our incense, from a Skibalon.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So But yeah, I didn't go down to TSU too much. But I went to Fisk, and you know, I think my passion and my love for Fisk is so much because number one, because I met Keisha there. And Keisha and I, we started dating in my sophomore year. So we go back that far. And when I think about what Fisk has done for me, I mean, obviously it's gave me, an education, a great education. But Fisk is small and it's family. And without Fisk, I just shudder to think that I wouldn't have met Keisha. I wouldn't have had my girls. I've got two daughters, and Fisk just it gave me everything because if you can make it at Fisk, you can make it anywhere. I mean, Fisk it's small. It's hard. We don't have all the amenities that everyone else has, but the care
It's
that
like being online.
you say what?
It's like being online.
Fisk is being online. If you can make it there, you know that's just how it is. I mean, and then the professors took care of us. I still know my professors. I mean, and when I go back to homecoming, they're still there, and some of them are teaching my daughter. And my daughter is Alpha Beta. She's a Delta in the same chapter as her mom, the same club as her mom. And I mean, and that's just how close knit
Yeah.
the school is. And I was actually shocked that she would want to go. Of course, I took her to Vanderbilt and to Fisk, and thinking that she wanted amenities and things. And when she was on Fisk campus, she's like, "There's no way I go anywhere else," and that really surprised me. So
Yeah.
she's in her senior year now, and she's about to graduate.
Do you know Dr. Wallace? Dr. Kent Wallace? He is the one of the deans of physics at Fisk University.
Right now,
Yes.
no, I don't know. I don't know too many of the current
Okay. Okay.
professors.
Yeah.
Even a lot of the ones that are kind of still there, starting to retire off a little bit
Okay.
from when I was there.
Gotcha. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. So high school, ninth grade, I did upper bound. That was a thing. So I did
hmm
upper bound at Lane College because my
Okay.
grandparents, they're West Tennessee people, and so I was at
Yeah.
um, upper bound, and it was a great experience. And then the only reason why I ended up at MTSU, I actually applied to TSU, got in, but MTSU offered more money for scholarships. And,
hmm
coming from a single parent family, you go where the money is. But
Yeah.
when it came to homecoming and other things, MTSU, TSU, that was just a thing. And so State was literally, up the street from the borough, so it was nothing. They would
Yeah.
come to see us, we'll go to see them, and being a PK church kid, my first how you see things on TV, but you don't really know what you're looking at, and growing up watching a different world, and so by the time I was a freshman in college, I was like, "Imma join a sorority." I don't know which one, I just knew I wanted to be Greek, and I knew I was going to college, and so my first now no judgment, PK, but I did my first party was a Q party, and it was culture shock. I was like, "Wow, okay." And so that really introduced me, and of course, there's more to the Greek life than just that, but, freshman week, there's a lot of things happening, and so it really opened my eyes to the D9 culture and just what it meant to have the letters and the history of our organizations, and I know there's a lot of debate about our D9 isn't necessary right now, but when you look at the contribution
hmm
globally that the D9 continues to have in every industry, math,
hmm
science, STEM, politics, religion, law, you name it,
Yeah.
fashion, music, our presence has opened doors for other people that may not be Greek and just for our people, period. And so sometimes it can be a little disheartening, when you have and hear these conversations, but then those of us that know the history, we continue to know and will continue to say that we are relevant, we are necessary, we're not going
hmm
anywhere. And so I just feel that with what you do with the sweaters and the cardigans is an excellent presentation of that. Being a SG role, and you know this, not even that long ago, it was really hard for us to find really nice quality
hmm
things. Like, you would see nice things for the deltas and the AKAs and sometimes the zetas, then it was just like, "Oh, here." And so I always felt a way towards other vendors and apparel
Yeah.
designers because I was like, we deserve the same level of quality and selection and representation. So when I came across your business, your family's business during the pandemic, I think we connected what 24, 23,
It
right
was,
through
it
there.
was early on. Yeah, it was
Yeah, it was
early
early
on.
on. I was like, "Ooh." And I was like, "I love this." And you know how you see things online, but then you get it, the quality's not as portrayed. But when I got my first 4 Club sweat it's still my favorite, the black, Sigma Rose. It's like this one, but it's black.
Yeah.
I was like, "Who are these people? I love all of this." And so then I ended up getting more things and taking more pictures, and I was just like, "This is good. This is so good." The stitching, you could tell that your family puts care into every seam, stitch fabric, and even when I've had other especially, like, the fraternity, they're like, "Oh my god, I love your sweatshirt." Ladies, like, I always get compliments, and I tell them, "Here's the Instagram, tell them I sent you," and I just sing y'all's praises because 'cause I'm like, "This is great stuff," and I love it.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You're putting a lot of pressure on me. So
Yes,
we'll try to
I
maintain
need
it.
a black on black chenille, like, I'm waiting for that to drop because I
Well, now your IHQ has guidelines, so that's why you don't have that.
well,
Yeah.
there's other vendors that sell it. Well, we're
Like,
not
so
gonna
the sweatshirt you have on, I went through a lot to make that happen, and that was not easy. But it's approved. What you
it's
got on,
beautiful.
and I had to create it, and I had to go back and forth with them to allow me to do it.
It's
So,
gorgeous.
but yeah, when you talk about creativity, though, sometimes, and it's not just your IHQ. Trust me, my IHQ, Executive Director Burrell has me on speed dial. I'm on his cell phone, so I even need to make sure I had no contraband in the background. That's what I was checking for when the cameras came on.
Contraband,
I,
I'm
I did not
praying,
need him
like,
calling me.
listen, I can pray and get a prayer through, and I'm praying for the grace that they release that hold because we need the
Yeah,
black on black chenille
yeah, that's
for
not
the
easy.
cause. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
and it's not just y'all. It's not just y'all. So
yeah.
each fraternity and sorority, they have their own guidelines that I have to abide by. So
We
yeah,
get it, and it's in good fun, but serious at the same time.
yeah,
But one of the
yeah,
things that annoys me is when I see non-D9, non-melanated organizations jacking our style, jacking our
yeah,
culture,
yeah.
jacking our down to
And
our
and and your
jackets.
IHQ, they're trying to protect your brand. They're trying to
Yeah,
protect your shield, and I get it.
yeah.
So I didn't fight with them too much.
I appreciate it. That's my cousin Candy. That's my like my cousin. She's an AKA. That's my
Okay.
grandmother's niece. So all of my cousins on my grandmother's side, they're AKAs, and so I came home from spring break with my stuff on and was like, "Look, cuz, what you?" I'm like, "You didn't talk to me." Like, it's all
Yeah.
good though. I love Candy. She's phenomenal. I'm super proud of her. Um, what do you think or wish? How can I phrase this? What do you think other entrepreneurs should understand about rest, sustainability, and long-term vision?
Um, well, if you're gonna be an entrepreneur, you obviously need to have a high pain threshold. I mean, risk is part of it. Risk is it. So assuming that you can handle risk, I just encourage entrepreneurs to just try. A lot of the biggest thing that entrepreneurs or people don't become entrepreneurs is because they're trying to get it perfect. And when I first started, nothing was perfect, and I kind of cringe at the first years of Four Club. I really do, but I understand that that's what it took for me to get to where I am now. And I was joking with my daughter today about something because I got this thing where when you hit 80%, then you need to just launch. Quit testing, quit trying to tweak it and get it from 80 to 100 before you launch. And she used my own words on me today and told me that I need to just move forward on something. So I guess the message is becoming clear. But the thing is that a lot of people, they don't try. And if you don't try, then you're not even throwing your hat in the race if you don't try. So the main thing is just to get out there and don't worry about being cringe. That's the thing. So just try.
Oh, you're stepping on my toes. Because I've been sitting on something since last year, and that perfectionism, and then also a little bit of fear, like this is
That's cringe. You gotta
that
let the
crazy.
fear go.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's let the fear go.
yeah.
We're so afraid of what people think.
Mhm.
Um, I tell you, I tweaked my marketing and I tweaked my social media platform, and I think it was in November where I danced on Instagram, and everybody knows that's not in my character to be on Instagram dancing, and it was I was embarrassing, and
But you're
my
like giving cool dad. Like, I was like, okay, pop
Yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, my daughter called me. Folks from church was calling me. Hey, are you okay? I mean, you would have thought I was doing lines of cocaine on my kitchen counter the way people
Oh
were reaching
Lord,
out calling me.
not skin.
And really it's because I said, you know what? I'm gonna make myself do this. I'm gonna have fun on camera and not care what people think. And I looked at the algorithm of Instagram and I saw where everything was going, and people resonated with what they saw. I mean, so it's like taking those cringe moments, those things we're afraid of, and just, showing people who you are so that they can trust you and just say, hey, you know what? He's cool. You know what? I think I can be brave enough to buy one of those sweaters and not, be disappointed. And I know that he'll get it right because he's approachable. So these are some of the things that we just got to do. So yeah, I encourage you to get the 80% and launch.
That's awesome. And I think one of the things when you get to that 80% in launch is when you begin to see the fruits of your labor. I think it was this past homecoming where you were able to pretty much fit for an entire chapter for your fraternity for homecoming, and they all had on the merch. And I scroll on social media and I'll see because we follow Watch the Yard and other
Mhm.
organizations on Instagram. And when I see chapters wearing a Poor Club, I'm like, that's big bro. Like I know him. Like it's so cool
Yeah.
to see people I know having those winning moments. And it's encouraging to me in my space to see you because those of us starting, we look up to you and I'm just like, man, that's so dope. So
Man, 5 years ago, I was sewing sweaters in my basement. I tell people that. And what it's grown to now is it's really amazing. And I just tell people you can do it. You just got to believe you can do it.
mhm.
So yeah, but you can do it. I'm living proof of that. I remember when my daughter was scribbled on a piece of paper 5 years ago, and she taped it on the wall of the basement. She was like, "Dad, let me see if you can get to 5,000 followers." And in my head, I was like, "Man, I'll never get to 5,000 followers." We've hit 5,000 followers and exceeded it. So yeah, I just encourage people that if you just keep working at it, you can do it. The thing is, though, people think that this stuff just happened overnight, and it didn't. This stuff takes time. I mean, I wish people could see me 25 years ago. You're looking at 50-year-old Eric. If y'all could have met 25-year-old Eric, you would be surprised at the vast difference. So young kids today, I just encourage it. We're not microwaving food here. We're slow baking. So this takes time. This is not something where you pop it in and it just spits out. And Instagram makes you think that you can drive a Lambo overnight, and it just don't work that way. You just don't.
No, no, that success had to marinate for a little while.
Yes.
Um, and with sewing, my grandmother had a sewing machine. She had a sewing room, and even in the Navy, messed around with the sewing machine some. And people don't understand that bobbin, trying to get that right and the threading. If a needle snaps, like it's
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't know how many sweaters probably got caught up in that hammer.
That,
It's just
that's
that's a
right.
whole nother to get
That's
here
right.
where you perfect it, where you can just do it like clockwork, but
Yeah.
probably went through a lot of bobbins, so
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I mean, I got a whole staff now. So, it's not just me, but, scaling is hard. There's so many business principles and techniques that, businesses require for you to be successful. But we've been through a whole lot.
yeah. Um, in that space of where you're going from the beginning to the promised land and you're in transition, that wilderness area, what do you do or to tell your message to other entrepreneurs when they're like, "Man, I've been doing this 2 years, 5 years. I still don't have the follows or I don't have that contract or my ideal client, I haven't signed them yet." And they're dealing with that discouragement and frustration. What is your message to other creators and innovators through that incubation period or that waiting season?
The first thing that you need to do when you're starting a business is you need to solve a problem. Okay. And there's business principles that you have to apply, and they all work in every industry. But successful businesses solve a customer's problems. Okay. Now, you may say, well, Eric, what does that sweater, what problem does that sweater solve? Well, you mentioned something early in the podcast. Other apparel manufacturers were not creating quality merchandise for Sigma Gamma Rho. So to solve a problem, what I did was I actually talked to some SG similar to yourself. I allowed them to get in my inbox. They kind of shared some things with me. And, I didn't cross SG. I'm a new. We're from Indiana, but I don't know all of y'all lore and esoteric things, but they shared with me the importance of yellow roses. And so when I designed and created apparel for you all, I wanted to design something that would speak to you all, that would make you feel special. So that was a problem that I identified and I solved it. When you do things like that, it's like a bee and honey. You know, bees, honey just attracts bees. Success it just happens when you create a good product, it sells itself. So start with solving a problem, and then it'll sell itself. Then you figure out how to scale. If I'm stuck sewing each and every one of these sweaters, we got a problem. I'm never going to be able to get it to you. So there are again, business principles of learning how to scale, learning how to source material, and then learning how to maintain a certain level of quality and service. All these things are important. So those are some easy business principles that I would share with anybody starting up. But if you solve a problem, you're gonna make some money.
That's awesome. Um and thank you just for sharing that. I think a lot of those of us within the community, there's a lot of gatekeeping going on. But on the other end, I feel that even what I've experienced is sometimes there's a sense of entitlement that just tell me, but no investment. Like I love what you do, but I've invested in the business as far as purchasing.
Hmm.
But at the same time, we've built rapport, and so I just feel that as a community, um, support, we're always asking for a discount, a hookup, and that
Right.
can burn
Mhm.
entrepreneurs when you dealing with
Yeah.
people, especially that are familiar with you and want to
Yeah.
throw we're all now we're cousins, you know, but it's
Yeah.
just like um always support. I feel like love shows up even if through your dollar. And me personally, those of us that I've supported, like yourself, I've never asked for a discount or
That's
what
right.
can I just put some on it? No, if this is the price and I'm going to pay that because that is your price and there's costs and things involved. And so
Yeah.
my thing for those of us on this side is don't have that expectation of because I know them, I should get XYZ because I don't know the losses you've taken. I don't know the times you stayed up, lost sleep, the
Mm.
frustrations or people that try to scam you. So it's just like
Yeah.
if you value it and if it's good and you really care about that person, if you're a friend, whomever, bruh, sis, soror, support it for real. Swipe the card, and just I just wish we would do better by each other, and
Yeah.
don't go 3, 4, 5 years, you don't talk to somebody, and then when you have something, "Hey, can you sponsor an event for me?" We haven't talked in 2 years, but you want money, so it's just like,
Yeah.
we have to really master relationship and honoring those spaces and each other because that can open more doors.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the flip side of that, as I talk to my staff, every sweater that we send out, it's got to be right, and we got to stand by it.
Mhm.
Because these people are spending their hard-earned money on something. They're trusting us. And,
Yeah.
in our situations, if you got a probate, if you got homecoming or a classic, and you got to have it by a certain time, and you got your outfit laid out, counting on it.
"Oh,
If
Imma
it
kill
don't
her with
arrive
this
in
one."
time or something wrong, yeah,
Yeah.
my name is Mud. So I explain to my staff, we got to get this right every time, every
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, and Imma say this for you. Y'all, when homecoming is. You usually have an idea of when probates are. Don't wait till 2 weeks
You
before
know, you
homecoming
know, you know what black people gonna do.
and
You know,
pressing my bruh
and
for a
and you know
sweater.
what? And some folks get their feelings hurt. you know,
Yeah,
some people get their
but
feelings
Imma
hurt.
say it so I'll take the bullet for this one. Don't do my bro like that, okay?
Right.
In this season.
I've had to, and people have told me that I need to. I'm gonna make a new reel. I've had to explain to people we sew every sweater according to the order. So like
Mm,
people think that we just gonna walk in the warehouse, pick up that sweater and stick it in a bag and ship it to you. No, we don't make it until you order it. So like this sweater right here, I literally got about 50 different designs that goes on this sweater. If I were to warehouse each one of those designs, that would increase the cost and I would have the warehouse the size of a city football field. So there's no way possible to do that. So we have to sew each product before we ship it. And so when I'm explaining that because you think that and we're getting it to you within 10 days,
you
which
are.
is hard.
Yes.
So yeah, and it's just it's really challenging to do when it's not already sitting there already made.
Yeah, but I just wanted to put that out to the people, to the community. Y'all take the pressure off my brother because they work hard over
Appreciate
there.
it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. My staff appreciates it.
Absolutely. Shout out to the staff. Hey, staff.
Yep. Yep.
One more thing. Message to younger Eric. What would one of those messages be?
Oh boy. I know. I would tell young Eric to keep going. You're on the right track. Um, I mean, I'm a believer. God has definitely the way God has blessed me. I could not the way the way he did it, the way he does it. I can't take credit for it. I'd love to tell people I'm all of that and I did this by myself and I'm self-made. I would love to say that, but I can't because just the way he led me from when I was in my 20s to here, I never would have saw this. Never in a million years could I have told you that. Um, and it's a good feeling to know that I can still hear his voice. So I'm excited to say that. That means don't get me wrong. I know I got some work I need to do, but it still feels good that he still talks to me and I can hear him. So I would just tell my younger self to just continue the prayer, continue the daily devotion, and stay focused and keep listening to him lead and guide you.
That's so good. And one more thing, I remember at the beginning of the conversation, you stated that you started this during the pandemic and that you turned 50. So for those of the listeners out there that are 40 and up and feel like it's too late, I ran out of time, I'm too old, what do you say to
No,
that?
no. Some of the biggest businesses and biggest brands were created by people in their 40s and 50s. I think Warren Buffett, um, he didn't become a billionaire until he was 50. He made a, he became a millionaire in his 40s, but you know, a lot of business owners, and I can't, my mind is drawing a blank right now, but a lot of business owners didn't even start out. I know the Kentucky Fried Chicken didn't start till he turned 50. Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his first major role till he was in his 40s. You know, there's so many examples of people. In no way do I feel like my life is over. I feel like I'm coming out of halftime in his third quarter. I've only played 2 quarters, and God willing, I got 2 more quarters to go. So this is Jordan Game 6 coming out of halftime. We ready to go.
I like that. We gotta have you back on the show. This is good. I feel like you have more to give us, but we want to respect your time. But before we begin to wrap things up, just one more thing.
Before we wrap up, what are your key takeaways from our conversation, and where can our listeners find you on social media?
Yeah. Well, my social media is W.E. Lusain. You definitely can catch me on there. Facebook too, W.E. Lusain. Key takeaways, man, there's so many. I mean, we talked about therapy. We talked about creativity, the healing power of creativity. We talked about what it means to be a successful business owner. So many things. Faith, we talked about faith, and yeah, so those are my key takeaways. Yours?
Oh, I've never had a guest ask me that before. I guess from the conversation, key takeaway from this to the audience and listeners, number one, to my brothers, you're not less than if you express your emotion and your feelings. Black men need therapy too. I'm a church girl, I'm saved, but we can have Jesus and a therapist.
Yeah.
I always say a therapist is just like pastoral care for your mind. It's never too late, you're never too old. One thing I got from you is get over the cringe, take the leap, jump off that porch and do it. And more importantly, I hope that you all got something from this conversation. I want to say thank you so much, Eric, for taking the time out of your busy schedule just to open up and talk to us. I'm so excited that you stopped by here with me to kick off the new season of the podcast. It is beyond an honor. And so I've been nervous and excited because I was like, I hope I get this one right. So I hope that you did enjoy this conversation.
No, this was good. Yeah, this was great.
And to have you back again. If you will have us, we would love to have you back in the future. And
Exactly.
just a moment. Everybody, thank you again. I hope that you got something from this conversation. Be sure to follow me across all streaming platforms. We have some new things coming out. Be sure to follow me and subscribe to my website at CamilleEssick.com. Tune in next week. This is February. So returning back will be Pam and Byron Dixon. We're going to continue our conversation on love and marriage. That is a conversation you don't want to miss. And I'm so excited to have you. To catch the lineup to see who else is coming, be sure to follow me on Instagram. Hit that notification bell and subscribe. You all be blessed. Good night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Wow.
Bye.
What a conversation. I hope you got something from tonight's episode. If you missed tonight's convo, no worries. Just catch the replay on YouTube and be sure to like, share, and subscribe.
Keep the SpeakHer Podcast ad-free. Scan the QR code and buy me a coffee. Your support keeps us ad-free as we continue to bring you conversations impacting the community and the culture.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the SpeakHer Podcast. Be sure to follow Camille on Instagram at camille.essick, Facebook at the SpeakHer Podcast, or www.camilleessick.com.
Listen, love the Speak Podcast. The feeling when you're here. There's a vibe in your ear.